Well, that's just prime.
Hi everyone, this is That's Just Prime, a Beast Wars podcast. We're back for another episode 17. We're really getting up there now, Ian. Today we're talking toys once again, which is the 1997 toy line this time. So we'll go through, just like we did with the 1996 toys, and we'll go through from basic all the way up to ultra. So this should be a fun episode. How are you doing, Ian?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. This one is going to get a lot of interest, I think. The 96 toy line generated a lot of interest. Retro toys always go down pretty well, and I've had a lot of people messaging us on various social platforms saying the toy cast episodes are really cool, be it Masterpiece or the original toys.
Yep.
But we had a lot of positive feedback from the first episodes. This one was always going to come back round again, and yeah, let's carry on with some nice retro toys.
Yeah, definitely some good feedback on the toy episodes, and this is a banging year for toys. I know we don't have as much of the, which we'll soon see, but the core cast here, a lot less show characters and more comic, which we know by our comic episode, or just non-show characters in general, but there's just some really good toys here. So we'll go right.
Toys,
yeah, absolutely. We'll go right into it with the basics wave from January 97. First up, we've got Airazor. So this is showcast, obviously. She was a basic class. Now, with this second run of toys, we moved away from, for the most part, I believe, the flip changer. So we still had basic, but they were transforming, steps to transform it, not just flick the tail and go. So Airazor was a really good example here. She wasn't complex by any means, but had quite a few steps, rotating legs around, folding wings, untabbing stuff, folding the head down onto the chest. So a bit more involved, which was really good to see. And we say basic, these are pretty much modern deluxes in size.
Yeah, Airazor, I felt, was a good upgrade over time. The one step changer, if it was in her form, would have just been like Pterosaur, I think. You're just doing this kind of hinge up, and it would have subtracted from the character. This one had good arm movement. The legs went in a nice pneumatic formation, tucked in around the front. How what is now a rarity, the bird head actually making the chest head, where in modern day toys you see
and looking decent
now. Yeah,
not looking
absolutely.
ginormous, doesn't have a cheetah head on the front.
No, it does not, sitting out like 10 miles in front of her. But no, it's a tidy enough figure, nice yellow being used for the body. The beast mode is pretty accurate. I do like how it came out.
It's not a bad Falcon mode,
yeah. You see a lot of, I've seen people pick this up at TF Nation just gone last month. The only thing that bothers me about this figure is that, as is a bit of a theme with the Kenner toys, is that it doesn't look anything like her show head. Not really. There's green eyes, but it might as well be a different character in terms of facial features.
Yeah, look, I can understand that. It's a good figure, and these smaller sort of, we'll call them season 2 in terms of toys, but second year releases, I guess it's a better term, had a really good showing of these ball joints. So with the ball jointed hips, because they're smaller figures, pretty much everything was a ball joint on them, but it allowed for this really dynamic range of posability. You didn't have wrists or waist sometimes, but you tended to have everything else. Because they were ball jointed ankles, you had swivel and tilt. You had lots of range in the elbows, lots of range in the shoulders, and they were just posable, fun little toys. Yeah, maybe not show accurate, but as you said, pretty good bird mode, pretty good bot mode, cool gimmicks with the flapping, attacking wing thing. Like, not a bad little start.
No, not at all. And it is, as you say, the modern day deluxes. A lot of these gimmicks and articulation that you just listed there, still present today. So they're holding up nicely. Yeah, and as I say, you see Airazor around. It's good that she got a good toy. The only thing I remember on my original copy is the shoulder pads did want to come off a lot. I seem to recall they
pop
popped
off pretty
and popped
easy,
on. Yeah, particularly with shoulder articulation, but it is what it is. I'm not hating them.
Yeah, I think they just clashed. If you moved them in a certain direction, they pop off pretty easy. But the update to this toy in the Kingdom line was a really nice step up. It was like very much a Pokemon evolution from this original basic to the new deluxe. Absolutely fantastic toy in that modern line. Ian's got it in his hand there. And yeah, a really nice showing of that, taking that original toy, a bit like Silverbolt actually in that Kingdom line. Yeah. They really just just took that original toy, made it a little bit more accurate, modernized it up a bit. But yeah, AirRaiser is a good toy.
Yeah, absolutely. Good start.
Moving on to our next one. Now, I want to say I'll name the toy first, I guess. Razor Claw, who's a little crab here, but I want to say in Australia at least, I don't know anywhere else, but both Razor Claw and AirRaiser released on card, like in a bubble card, with a VHS tape. I don't know if that was a common thing anywhere else, and you'd have to forgive me for what episodes they came with. Okay, I'm just reading the wiki here. So this pack was released in general retail with its own wave alongside a redecoed, and VHS came with AirRaiser. So it doesn't say what episode, but yeah, these two figures from this first wave had variants that came out with VHS. I do have the tapes, I just can't remember what they were.
I don't recall seeing VHS tapes for sale alongside toys in the Beast Wars series. It's not to say they didn't, but I'm trying to remember my passage through toy stores, and I remember the bubbles and all being hung up on the pegs, and I can't recall a VHS cassette alongside them. But it's not to say they didn't, but you'll very likely get it in sort of parts of the world exclusives, like in Australia,
it's very much just
America.
The standard bubble card back that hung on the hook that had a VHS vertical sort of off to one side and then the figure slightly in front. But yeah, that's how I got both AirRaiser and Razor Claw in this case. But anyway, Razor Claw, I love this figure. I love the crabs in Beast Wars. Everyone knows that we both love Rampage. But this crab is an awesome little dude. I love the colouring. This is one where I prefer this bright green and purple sort of colour scheme on this, opposed to a more realistic look. I think it looks fantastic. It's got these cool little orange abs, and the orange highlights over the carapace and the claws are great. I like how the back of the shell spreads open to form. It's not really shoulder pads because they sit behind the shoulders, but just a really cool design on this. He's got one small claw and one large claw, both open and articulate, but the large claw has a little lever on the back, and when you flick it, three sharp claws pop out inside the main claw, which is really cool.
These toys really do come with gimmicks throughout, with nice little features within the toy, a bit like Polar Claw from before, or even Scorponok in the Mega classes. You've got these gimmicks that lie within. Once you explore the figure and pose it, you realise they've got little flip-out features. And for a smaller figure, he's got some fun to him. And yeah, he explodes out nicely with his crustacean shell to give these kind of shoulder pads or wings effect. I've handled the figure since. I never had it back in the day. I'm not going to say that just because I didn't have it, it wasn't released in the UK, because I feel like I say that. I feel like I hold a monopoly on UK releases just because it wasn't in that particular toy store.
It's the most common phrase from UK collectors. It wasn't released in the UK.
We did get stiffed on a couple of things. Come on, we're still after. We're not getting a G1 swoop, mate. When it came out under the
still haven't got it. They're still in a warehouse somewhere.
There's a lot of UK fans that are deeply upset about that, by the way. But and of course, this isn't my Razor Claw. Not my Razor Claw. Hashtag not my Razor Claw. He's not my lion boy, but he's cool enough, and he does get an outrun in the 2006 the Gathering comic. So he gets his feature, but he really does scream Predacon, doesn't he, with his colours and
definitely in both variants. So the original release with the more browns and purples, and then that VHS release with the brighter green and sort of pinky purple green, and orange. It's a very nice green. Both look good. Again, I prefer that redeco, but that small size but gimmicks. It's not just like here's a pistol and here you go. Like things to actually do with it. We do have rub signs hidden under the shell too. So a nice little package. And again, a crab transformer is always cool, in my opinion. Up next in the basics line, we've got Clawjaw, which is 2 words, and he's a squid, like a little orange squid. Again, there was a redeco with a video, apparently, that I didn't see on this one, but he was in a very, very Decepticon, Predacon purple and black and yellow, which looks quite cool, actually. But he's a maximal, so the orange kind of suits better, I guess. But yeah, cool little squid. Now, this is one I never had. I've never handled it. I don't even think I've seen it in person, outside of probably eBay listings and this TF Wiki page that we're looking at right now. But yeah, I've never handled this, it's definitely on the list to pick up either at a con or a good eBay sale at some point. But yeah, this little orange squid I've never seen.
I've never seen it either. I remember the appearances as it shows on the wiki with the IDW comics. So I remember a squid appearing, but I don't recall seeing the toy. And if you scroll down and see more of its, I'll use the term loosely, its transmetal repackage, it just really reminds me of Sovereign from Mass Effect or a Reaper design. But other than that, I don't think I've ever seen this in any form.
No. And which is a shame because looking at the photos here, it's a cool little tree. Very simple, but effective. So the legs flip up to form that quintessential squid head with the sort of the bell on the top and whatnot. And his little pincer mouth becomes his chest. It's a cool design. It's a real shame that I never ever saw this. But anyway, like, it looks good. That's
as much insight as we can give.
So I think we'll move on from it. It's cool. Maybe we'll pick it up and revisit that in future. Next up, we've got Drill Bit, another basic, of course. And he is a organic boll weevil, apparently.
Did you just come up with that off the top of your head?
Yeah, the top of my head reading Wikipedia. Yeah, so it's a little beetle. Looks like a bit like a rhino beetle or a stag beetle.
Is he a dung beetle?
Well,
I hope for his sake that he's not.
Again, it says a weevil, but it looks like a beetle to me.
Yeah, he's very purple, isn't he?
It's very purple and translucent orange. I wonder how these have held up over time. Again, never ever seen this in my life.
No, I haven't.
Again, I've seen it on catalogues and Wikipedia and stuff like that, but it looks very sort of similar to some of the flip changes in terms of the overall layout of the figure. Like
it reminds me of what's his name? The one that's completely got out of my head, the armadillo one.
Yeah, that's exactly. It looks like you could just fold that chest piece back up, and his legs will tuck underneath, and that's it. But
a lot of these beast formers, they're wearing their kibble on the back of them, particularly the smaller basic classes. So it just kind of explodes out and explodes back in again. So it's all more or less there.
We might have to share this picture on social media. He looks like a fucking peanut, like an actual peanut. That someone's gone and got a bright coloured crayon and drawn green and red eyes on it, and then stuck some what are those snack foods, Takis? You know, there's a weird coloured little twisty things, and just shoved them on the side.
It's
of this
very
peanut.
much like, get it out the door now. This needs to go, ship it.
It looks like shit.
It doesn't look great, and we don't say that with any kind of love and determination. But he's a Predacon, and he's a beetle. He's purple, and I think,
not on the short list for me to pick up. Unfortunately, this would be completion level of I'm picking it up because I'm trying to complete the set type thing. Sorry, Drill Bit, you're you and your peanut ass looking body can stay on Wikipedia for now.
He's one of the few designs that doesn't get reissued, and that says a lot. And I think you can take that as quite a slight, isn't it? When you think of the likes of Pterosaur, Air anyone who got a transmetal or just a repaint, you know, there's a lot of ones that just get recycled. How bad is it that no one cares about you to not go past your original production run? It's like, oh, the poor Drill Bit's not getting his time in the sun.
He's the most funniest thing about this, besides his look, is in Beast Wars 2, this mould was used to make Beast Wars 2 drill nuts. Drill nuts.
You said it was a peanut.
But yeah, so Drill Nut or Drill Bit here is, nothing to write home about, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
Swiftly moving on. Now, our first re-deco, and we did discuss this a little bit in our 96 toys, is Laserbeak. Now, this is a flip changer, but we'll give it a pass because it is a re-deco. Now, this is obviously Pterosaur in a banger of a colour scheme. And again, going back to our IDW The Gathering episode, please check it out. It's a very featured character in that comic, and he looks fantastic in that. Very toy-orientated design that Don Figueroa went for the artwork as well. But this bright purple, it's like a reddy orange, like neon colour scheme. Love it. Absolutely love it. I need to pick this up.
Yeah, it's just, again, they dined out on this pterosaur mold, didn't they? And it was great seeing how he was introduced, as you say, Don Fig using these very toy accurate drawings in the Gathering and Ascending comics. It's just really cool seeing the character, and it suits him. I mean, as you know, sucker for pterosaur, love the original color schemes, but this is such an attractive color scheme and looks more threatening to the point that it makes you think if this was the original pterosaur colors, I wouldn't have been unhappy. It's a very, very striking one.
Yeah, and this Laserbeak came out by itself in the wave. So we had 2 in wave 1, 2 in wave 2. Wave 4, we've actually got 3, and there was just a single release in wave 3 here, so I don't know what the go there was, but poor old Laserbeak just came out by himself. I guess he just probably topped up shelves or whatever. Now, I do think I did see this on shelves at the time, but I already had Pterosaur, so,
I think I was the same.
Being poor and, a teenager, I probably just thought, I already have it. There's no point picking up the repaint. Where these days, be like, another one of these banger toys, like, give me,
yeah,
please.
Exactly. I need my 6th pterosaur mold. Of course. Well, they were dining on this mold right up to the 2007 film, weren't they? So this just
this is Age of Extinction Strafe repaint.
Yeah, it's just a mold that would not die. But of course, and what bothered me and still bothers me in many ways, this is Laserbeak or Laserbeak as it's listed. It's a way, isn't it, of keeping the names and the licenses going, but of course it's not anything to do with G1 Laserbeak of Soundwave. It's just a coinciding name. And isn't that a bit of a shame when we got Ravage making a reappearance? Could this not have been Laserbeak as well? Could the cassettes have not been woven in nicely? And hey, if this was a reincarnation of Soundwave's Laserbeak into a clone of Pterosaur, I could have worked with that.
Yeah, and fair play to Furman and Figueroa for getting these characters into canon too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely a good one. If you're into your repaints, that Pterosaur mold, it's got legs for days, so go for it.
4 days.
Up next is Power Pinch. So this is wave 4 now, and Power Pinch is a little sort of beetle-y sort of earwig thing.
Yeah.
Anyone knows what an earwig is?
Yeah, and it's
those little black things with a little big pincer on the arse.
Yeah, it's a very big pincer, isn't it? It's bad when your toy looks ugly, isn't it?
It's not the best looking thing, is it?
I mean, it's not meant to be an attractive insect, but even the toy doesn't look fabulous.
Yeah, look, it looks like I said at the start this is a banger wave. It is, because there is some premiere releases in this wave. But the flip side of that is
there's some
just stuff in here like that I just never seen, never experienced. It looks like it's got an okay transformation. Sort of goes from that long earwig into a decent little robot. Get that throwback to part of the beast becoming the weapon, so his pincer tail becomes a pincer weapon. Look, it looks decent enough. Nice colours, I would say that black and orange usually goes pretty well together.
The only thing I'm thinking is that Insecticon is probably the better, superior beetle from the previous wave. When you put it alongside this, what does this offer any more than that banger of a mold? And that was a banger of a mold.
Flip changer or not, that is top tier basic Beast Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This is very subpar compared to that. Almost perfection with that Insecticon. Look, again, we're not ripping on it. I'm sure it's a fine toy. Neither of us have handled it, but it's we'll have to ask Spiderfather if he's got a copy. I'm sure he does.
Knowingly, he'll have God knows how many.
Hi Lee, how are you doing, mate?
He'll probably be very upset that we've besmirched some of his beloved toys. I'll get an angry message, I'm sure.
That's all right. Now, moving on to one I did have and is fantastic. Again, both now and the new Legacy toy of it are pretty cool. It's Snarl and Tasmania Kid in some areas, a Japanese release, but Snarl in the Western release. And he's a little Tasmanian devil. I don't want to say involved, that's probably a little exaggerating, but a cool transformation here where his beast head and his feet are the same thing. So his legs actually fold up underneath him and the toe and the heel fold together and become the head of the beast, which is really cool. And then his front arms are his front arms, which is pretty standard beast.
You can see it, can't you? It's just like
It looks like he's got
80% of
permanent
beast, and then
handshake.
this, and he's just maybe like, you don't mind if I just keep my robot arms here, do you? No, mate, it's fine. You crack them.
But I always found something I did find funny with this is his tail becomes this sort of janky ass gun where the peg of the tail is like the barrel of the gun.
He's got his gun inserted in him, like he's got the barrel.
It's in his like, yeah. And then it pegs into his forearm because, as we alluded to, he's got these oven mid ass permanent handshake hands. They can't hold anything, so you've got to jam his ass cannon into his forearm.
Clenching a fist is something that's beyond his capabilities. But he gets a hell of an outing, though, doesn't he? He's quite a lot into the comics. We've seen that recently with Gathering and Ascending. He's quite around. I never had this guy, and to the point that I don't think I saw it on sale. I may have just missed it, but it's a cool enough design. He's prominent enough, and he's had redecos. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a...
Did you pick up the Legacy version?
No, I didn't, actually.
Definitely one to chase. So I actually prefer the robot mode and obviously the transformation of the new one. But it's got a tiny little head, which is probably more accurate. But that original has that big, stupid, cartoony looking beast mode, which I do like. Now, speaking of that dumb tail gun, it's spring-loaded, and the reason it was spring-loaded was meant to be like this lunge attack. So you'd press the little button on it, and it was meant to like fire him across the table. The spring's so weak in it. And even when I had this, I didn't even know what the gimmick was designed for. I was like, what the hell is this stupid? Like, the tail doesn't fire anything. It's meant to fire the tail, or it fires off the tail. But it works terribly unless it's on like the most low friction surface possible, potentially downhill.
Yeah, you need a bit of wind behind you for that. But I didn't pick up the re-release of this recently, but it's one that, having again reread The Gathering, I'm probably going to have to backtrack and get, because he is quite a prominent character in the comics, which is good for him. It's otherwise it's a lesser known toy. Yeah,
no, it's a good toy, that one. Like I said, decent transformation. The gimmick falls short a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty decent. Next up, we've got Spitter, or Spitter, if you're Australian.
Spitter.
Yeah, Spitter. Yeah, but if you're an Aussie, it's Spitter because we're lazy. Now, another toy with plenty of redecos, but Spitter originally came out in this like blue and orange sort of colour scheme. A poison arrow say that again.
Poison ArrowFyre?
A poison. I'll leave it all that in now.
I think
poison arrow frog. Poison ArrowFyre. But a lot of clear plastic on this guy. Again, I don't have Spitter. I have seen him in person, but I wonder how this is held up, particularly with those ball joints. Now, this is an issue. Clear plastic, when it's used for inserts or it's heavy duty enough, is definitely not a concern, particularly if it's not left in direct sunlight and stuff like that. But these toys are coming up on 30 years old. They are ball jointed joints with clear plastic sockets. Probably not a good mix. Yeah.
No, you start, and of course, you're fine if you leave them in their bubbles. Yeah, but as soon as you pick them up, just to pick up air razor because you see it, and you start, you're rubbing plastic on plastic, and it's already thinner. It's already of a not a dense material. Throw in 30 years of age, and it's such an integral piece. It will be a death sentence to a
yeah. Yeah, I'd like to. Again, this might be a question for Spiderfather because he would definitely have this. How's it held up? That's what I want to know, because this is a really good example where you've got clear plastic meeting multiple joints, and especially if they've got a bit of playwear on them. Early days, how have they held up now? If they're not crumbling, they're probably really loose.
To be fair, again, at TF Nations recently, I've seen someone pick up the original toy colouring of that yellow and blue, which just looks fantastic. I did see this back in the day, never got it. It is on my list to pick up because it's such an interesting alt mode design, beast mode design. But I don't think I've seen a loose one. So if I've seen them, it's been in bubble, it's been in protective shelling, just to preserve it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's a brilliant figure, and one that got many mile out of it with the redeco and a very good appearance in the comics as well. So much like we saw with Laserbeak, it's kind of an iconic character for someone who wasn't in the TV show.
Yeah, I want a battle damaged one. That's been
30 years will do that for you.
Stomped on and got mechanical knees and things hanging out.
I think if you just pick up a second-hand ones in someone's played collection, there's your battleware.
Now, speaking of redecos of this, we won't go to the Transmetal, but we will talk about, there was a European market only release of this in '99 that came in a black with gold highlights and red color scheme, which looks pretty cool, but I think I like that blue and yellow color with the green eyes a little bit more.
It looks like a poisonous frog, doesn't it, with the yellow, because it looks like venom running through his skin a little bit, and you could easily imagine that on some kind of tropical forest, just sitting on a rock somewhere. But he's got that sinister look. It's a very well done figure.
Cool. Let's move on to deluxe class. Now, we're starting to get to some really cool stuff here. Not that any of that wasn't bad. Wave 1 was the winner there, I think, with the two new molds with Air Razor and Razor Claw. Deluxes, we got some really cool stuff here. Starting off with Cyber Shark, not the Transmetal one that everyone knows as Skybite. The original Cyber Shark came out in a hammerhead form. Now, this figure was remolded many times into different types of shark and stuff, and I want to pick them all up because they're all cool. I unfortunately only have.
You're so Aussie, aren't you?
Yeah. The sharks are cool and scary.
Yeah, they're literally outside your front door. Sharks
almost about 1 kilometre that way.
They're really kind of underutilized, I think, as Beast Wars figures. You think of all the characters they could have, particularly if you're making, I don't know, a Predacon, or this guy's a Maximal, if I remember right. Like it's a good evil beast form to use, isn't it? Evil shark, scary creature. Yeah, you think it's Cyber Shark, and what is that? The only time we see a shark? Okay, Sharkticon. Okay, it's kind of the glaring obvious one, but is it like nothing again till Skybite? It's just,
I think so.
I think that's a bit odd.
I'd love to be corrected, but I think that's about the scale of shark transformers.
Oh, shark scales, fins, puns. Have a word with yourself.
I'm not cutting this coughing out because I'm funny.
I can only apologise, dear listeners, of our fan base, of our now 2,000 listens. We should have said that at the start. Thank you very much for 2,000.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening.
And I'm sorry that you've had to endure that. I hope you're happy.
Always. Moving on with the Cyber Shark. So here's a hammerhead shark. Cool design. There is some shell former action here, but done in a really nice way. So his hammerhead section actually becomes a weapon, and so does his tail. Very Beast Wars anyway. The body sort of splays open and becomes wings on the back, and they are large, but they don't look too bad. But the chest, instead of being the shark head, which you would expect, is like more of like a mechanical sort of chest plate, which that head pegs onto. Great design. I really like this toy, and his robot mode head is gnarly as. I love it.
Yeah, it helps, doesn't it, with the fairly narrower and taller Fuller Deluxe. It really kind of merges together nicely because it opens out fine enough. It doesn't sprawl out like bird wings, for example, but it gives the ability to have all of these Cybertronian gubbins hiding away without trying to be masquerading as animal parts. So it looks believable to be outer shell of a shark, inner side of a robot. Also,
with his chest, where the hammerhead piece pegs on, there is a little spring-loaded missile launcher there that you can plug a missile in and have a chest-firing missile gimmick.
Lose it down the back of the sofa.
Yeah, that's right. Now, as I said, this was remolded into many other types of shark, which makes sense because of the way the gimmicks work. You can remove that head. So it was quite easy for them to swap out different fins onto the ball joints, put a different head on there. Different head sculpt is easy enough, just pegs in. So this figure really lent itself to other designs, which none have made into the show, of course. All right, so next up we have Jetstorm, which is a dragonfly, which is very cool. And he originally, I thought this was like a remold or a repaint of Waspinator when I was younger, not now. It's obviously not. It's a very different mold. But yeah, we've got a dragonfly, and he's again another like gimmick laden figure for its size. He's got a water pistol gimmick or a water squirting gimmick and spring loaded missiles. So plenty on the go with this guy.
He's tall, even though he's a deluxe, but I think it's his dragonfly wings that are standing upright.
Definitely
in this
add
mode.
to it, yeah.
It definitely does. I'm looking at a small image of it here. I'll try and click and zoom in it. He must have the same head as Transquito, as we're coming to in a minute. It looks like a remold in that same head, and it should be for the type of insect he turns into, but it's a really cool, like marshy green design. The colors really kind of complement it, and he stands out pretty well again in the gathering, getting a very good run out. A lot of these, I don't want to say lesser characters, but I suppose to a degree lesser figures, getting a bit of a prominence as and they're in the gathering. He does cut a very tall, striking figure.
Yeah, he's got some cool transformation aspects going on here too. Instead of the head splitting apart and becoming the chest like a lot of those bug transformers, it's actually his hands become the two eyes of the dragonfly, which is a nice different sort of look at how to do these transformation, but pretty cool. I did see this on shelves, never picked it up though.
No, I think I was the same. I think I do remember seeing it. And of course, they're using the name again, Jetstorm, which became a very prominent character in Beast Machines. So that does annoy me a little bit. Like, surely you can come up with an independent name rather than just like, what, is this the same guy from Beast Machines who we never saw in the cartoon? But, yeah, it is.
Could have called it Dragonstorm.
That is a very cool idea. Well done for coming up with that off the top of your head.
We'll move on from Dragonstorm.
Sign them up, Hasbro. Sign them up.
Now, another one of our recent comic friends from the gathering is Bone Crusher. So the big bison transformer. Now, I had this as a kid, but it was a knockoff. There was we call them $2 stores, like a variety store here in town where I live. And it was the original post office in town, and it was no longer the post office. They'd built a new building, and this like variety shop had taken over. And I just, by happenstance, walked in there one day, and I was like, oh, Beast Wars. And then I realised they were KOs, but they were cheap. Like at the time, they were like a few bucks each or something. And I picked up this, and I think Wolfang, and the head would never stay on. It would fall off all the time. But otherwise, the KO wasn't too bad. Now, I made a joke in the Gathering episode about Bone Crusher, and I said at least his head doesn't hang off his back, because when you transform this, that whole back section of the bison is like a gun that fires out of his mouth. And it means that when he's in robot mode, from any profile bar dead on, he's just got the whole length of a bison spine hanging off the back of his head.
He is a cool looking toy, though. I love the beast mode. I don't think I ever saw this, but it's one I've been after since, again, particularly rereading. I would very much like to get it. I'd love to see a real upgrade as well, because I don't know, I feel like this guy could be bigger than Deluxe. I feel like his type of alt mode, his size, his muscle, and you look at again, as we covered it, and it's on the wiki as well, the appearance in the Gathering, he really cuts a very shoulder stocky figure. So
yeah, it's got
I
that
feel like
bodybuilder.
Deluxe. Yeah,
big,
he's definitely not missing shoulder ray, is he?
No, definitely not. It is a cool figure. I definitely do recommend picking this up. I'd love to get a proper copy of it instead of my KO, but yeah, I could see this being remade.
KOs aren't bad.
No, not always. I could see this being made if it was ever done as a modern figure, which I doubt it, because it's not like
It's very it's very.
He's not Z-list, but he'd be down in the EF. But it's quite panel heavy in terms of the beast mode, but that's common. It doesn't really do much, but he looks good. I do like how that prominent bison head actually sort of sinks into the robot mode body, so it's not sticking out much, but you still get that bison head on the front, and the horns of the robot mode head are actually the horns of the bison head. So that's a really nice little bit of transformation there.
Could he have been a mega class, do you think?
Oh, I think if it was a show character, I could have seen it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But yeah, good figure. I like that. Again, transformation is pretty good. It's a beast former, so it's going to have a little bit of panel stuff going on, especially this style of animal. And it's a decent representation, chicken and egg thing here, but a decent representation of what we see in the comic as well. So I like this figure, and I definitely would like to find one sort of going forward, whether it's Takara or the Hasbro Kenner version.
Now, next up, one that I did have, and I don't know where it is now. Maybe it's played with to death, but it's Man Terror, which is a god awful name. But it is a praying mantis. But Man Terror is just
It sounds like a knockoff Pantera.
Oh, it does a bit. It does say the AKA the Man Terror as two separate words.
Man Terror.
It's just horrible name. But what a toy this was.
Terrorizing.
Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, he is basically all hands, all claws. That's where the gimmick lies. And you have this kind of spinning wheel that was, I think it was detachable if I remember, but was it supposed to be like a disc that he could throw towards? Was that how the toy gimmick was? I do remember losing it. I do remember the translucent front claws.
Yeah, they were a pressure launch. So they weren't spring loaded. They were like a pressure launch. Like think of a Lego launcher type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, very easy to lose.
And they were. But it's a very sizable figure. And when it transforms up into robot mode, he's got crazy proportions because being a praying mantis, it's all front arms, but with long wings, like almost dragonfly or mantis wings. He cuts a really strong figure. Very evil looking head sculpt as well. Very, very evil expression there. But I love this toy. I got it and I was really, really happy with it.
Yeah, another one I don't have, but I would like to experience. It does look cool. I like both modes. More the mantis mode than the robot mode. Like you say, he's got those gorilla arms due to the nature of the... I mean,
nature
like
of the
50...
beast.
Yeah. The puns
See, we can do puns. I can do them too.
The 50% of his beast mode is pretty much those arms. So it makes sense of why the proportions are as such.
But I remember seeing this on the shelves a lot. I can remember seeing a lot of people with it. Yet, it was one that didn't get reissued into other colours, at least not according to the wiki. It's not like it came out with a black
I don't reckon that this came... Look, it probably did come out here, but I didn't see it in my area. And again, we're old, so looking for stuff on the internet. So it's just what popped up in your local area pretty much. And I never saw this one. Again, this is something that I saw in catalogues or in later on the internet, but nothing I ever saw firsthand. So moving on to wave 3 of the deluxe class, we've got another remold repaint here. We've got Beast Wars Grimlock. Again, The Gathering. You guys need to listen to The Gathering. Everyone needs to listen to our Gathering episodes. A good listen.
Very good listen. And then listen to it again.
Yeah, listen to it 10 times each. Please. But we get a very cool cameo in The Gathering of Grimlock. Now, this time around here is actually a remold repaint of the original deluxe class Dinobot figure. Different colours, gold shins and body with the white and black dots. So yeah, with the white and the black dots instead of that pink and sort of tan dots on the original Dinobot. This is a repaint. I said remold, but there's not much remolding here. It's pretty much a repaint. Now in The Gathering, Grimlock was the Autobot Grimlock, Dinobot Grimlock. So we can assume that this is the same since that character in The Gathering is based on this toy.
Yeah, and I really like that, but I remember at the time, whilst it's a very good redeco of the Dinobot toy, and I like the fact that Grimlock was introduced into Beast Wars, and it was G1 Grimlock, and who better to come into Beast Wars than one of the Dinobots? Mm-hmm. I always felt when you have even the original G1 toy, this is a step down because he's gone effectively from a Tyrannosaurus down to a Velociraptor, and it's a bit, Grimlock should be bulkier than that. He should be like a Beast Wars Megatron, if anything, of that kind of size and ilk. So that was the only thing that was a little bit of a whimper to me. But I've seen this recently. I saw, to give credit, it was a chap called Liam at TF Nation who had his own customs on one of the tables at the bar there, and he got the Dinobot toy and did his own custom Grimlock design, which came out really well. It's a very eye-catching colour scheme, cool. As you say, with the dots, the scales, gold plastic.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a big sufferer. Big sufferer. Those legs and hips do not like much play at all.
Hips lie, apparently.
Yeah, this is super gold plastic. Like, it is the epitome of gold plastic here. It's not brown plastic or whatever. This is actual gold plastic. Not that it makes it any more or less susceptible to gold plastic syndrome. It definitely stands out a bit more than some of the other stuff. It's on the legs, some of the body, and the head mutant mask flaps, which that doesn't really matter. You're not going to break them too easy. But yeah, the legs and hips were particularly prone to breaking with this guy. Now, There was one slight remold with this figure. They did add more of a ratcheted shoulder for whatever reason. I'm sure the outward shoulder joint probably still popped out when he tried to turn it, but otherwise it's cool. But yeah, good looking figure. One I don't have, but I do have a few versions of the Dinobot in this mold, so it's exactly the same. But would be nice to pick up in box and leave it in box because I wouldn't want to.
It would be nice to pick up and never hold again.
Yeah, leave it just on a shelf.
Yeah, that's where you live, lad.
I'm going to let Ian take this next one because he picked one up at TF Nation, which he's quite excited about. Well, kind of.
I actually picked this up. It was a toy fair just recently, just up the road.
That's right.
I'm currently holding up Wolfgang. So it is the same mold for, again, one that I just never got. So I was really pleased to get this. I thought that was lovely. But the one we're talking about here to come up next is a repaint of that, which is K9. And honestly, that is a better name than Wolfgang, maybe.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call that Wolfgang as well. That's a wrestler.
German Shepherd. German Shepherd beast mode here with that nice gold and brown colouring that you get on a German Shepherd, except he's got blue highlights.
But yeah, the blue highlights doesn't really work, but the merging of the kind of blackened fur. I mean, it's a
that little gradient.
If ever there was, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good looking alt mode. This a good looking beast mode. This again, it is a repaint of that Wolfgang figure. So we do have a mutant mask here from that first year of toys. It's a cool toy. It's pretty simple transformation. You know, Wolf stands up. This, instead of the wolf head going on the chest, his head splits apart, becomes shoulder pauldrons, and the back of the wolf becomes like a shield, and he's got a tail weapon, etc. Pretty standard stuff for four-legged Beast Wars figures, but it's a nice figure. I do like it. I like both versions of this.
Like with the Cheetor mold into Tigatron, is you got repaints very quickly. It was a
easy
tried and tested, isn't it? You know, into a wolf, into a dog, into a cheetah becomes a tiger. You can throw it around pretty easily. So it was good to see it come back out again. It wasn't a surprise, and it's a lovely paint deco. But I'm very happy with Wolfgang as well.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to our next one is Retrax.
Oh my God, this is horrible.
Now,
this still looks bad.
Yeah, Retrax is very love or hate. There is not much in between here. He's a pill bug. Now, I will give them credit here.
What the fuck? Is it a millipede?
It's a pill bug, like one of those little bugs that when you see them, they roll up into a ball. I will give them...
That's currently in Fortnite at the moment.
Yeah. I will... I wouldn't know. I will give them credit here. The gimmick itself is pretty good. It rolls up into a ball, like it does what the bug does. But otherwise,
that's cool.
The robot mode kind of sucks because his arms are permanently stuck to the back of the pill bug or the pill millipede or whatever. But in beast mode, he looks cool, whether in a ball or laying down, if you like millipedes, I guess.
It was a bad figure back in the day. It's a bad figure now, I'm afraid.
I like it for the oddity, I will say.
Oh, it's crawling with oddity. No, I like its gimmick, but I just, sorry. 2 for 2 on puns now. The head for me looks rubbish. I've seen this again.
That robot mode head.
Oh,
looks like he just sucked on a bag of warheads.
It's for me. It's not great. But I've seen this being picked up at TF Nation. I think it's maybe the color scheme of the top of the millipede, whatever, that kind of breaking of a very lime green to a deeper green for the rest of the body makes it an eye-catching design. But I kind of put this into the bracket of it was bad when it was good.
Look, I like the fact that they went for something different. It is very different.
It's definitely different.
And moving on.
That's all we can say about that.
To one of the best figures in this year. Mega Wave Inferno. I love this figure. This figure is fantastic. And if I had one wish for any figure to come out in the Masterpiece line, like next, it's this guy. I really want a Masterpiece Inferno. But this figure is awesome. There's a lot of clear plastic here, but it holds up pretty well. I've got a couple of copies of this. A little bit of floor polish or thickening polish can fix this guy up pretty easily. Awesome gimmicks. Got the big pincer gun. Got the rotating abdomen, like the thruster butt thing that he's got. Look, the Ant mode is decent, doesn't hold itself up real well these days, but it's a pretty, considering how many of these figures were not accurate to the show before Transmetals,
This was close.
this isn't bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah. No, I still have a massive time for this figure. I loved it when I got it. The size is brilliant because it's representative of the size of the figure, because Inferno was bloody ginormous in the cartoon. And so to be a mega class, unlike Scorponok, who for some reason had an absolutely brilliant toy, better toy than he had any right to be, because he was an absolute dickhead in the cartoon. But this guy's fantastic. The clear translucent plastic was maybe a little bit of a shame. We'd have to wait for the Kingdom version to come out before we kind of got true paint scheme representation. There's so much to like about this. So you had, as you say, kind of the gimmick of the pincers. That was really cool. I didn't like how the ant legs kind of just hung off a little bit, but it had to go somewhere. But you did have the added gimmick of the spinning tail jetpack. And I will say, if you've never sampled this figure, do pick it up. Just even now. It's banger of a figure.
Yeah.
Really good fun. Desperate for it in a masterpiece. The only thing that's a little bit of a shame is that the head wasn't as spot on as it could be. It was close enough. You could work out what it was, who it was, but it kind of didn't have that show accurate head that, again, the Kingdom version is absolutely nailed.
That Kingdom figure is absolutely brilliant. And as you say, the head sculpt is probably the weakest part of this. It's not a bad head sculpt by all means, but the Inferno character model head sculpt is just ludicrous. Like, it's an absolute whack job, and it translated really well to Kingdom. In this, it didn't so much. But this figure is really good. Now, this notoriously shell-formed, like everywhere. Now, it wasn't necessarily that it was an unpopular character. It was over-distributed from what I understand.
There were a lot.
And I knew this was the case, but the wiki is saying that it was essentially in every mega case that went to retailers. So even later waves had this guy in it, which meant that they were just everywhere. And you're talking a bigger toy, more expensive toy. Not as many are going to get picked up as like a deluxe or a basic wave. So you start piling these on shelves, they're going to stay there for a little while.
Yeah, and I don't think we got it here, but of course it was repainted to make Ant Agony, which was just repainted into the black and purple redeco of Inferno. It was just a case of, it was a good toy and people had it, but it's a bit like Cheetor in as much as it was just bloody everywhere.
Yeah, it would definitely be a really good masterpiece toy. I think they don't need to do a lot to make it accurate to the show, and with modern engineering and modern molding techniques and all that sort of stuff, they could make a really, really good ant. Taking Kingdom from an example and what they've been doing with like Rhinox and things that actually are complex to do, I think an absolutely wonderful figure would come out of Masterpiece for this. That's wish list anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think as well, I do remember the Ant mode being a playable character, not playable character, try again. The one of the final bosses in the Red Alert game, which was really cool. So it was giant ants, and this was around about the same time when I was playing Command and Conquer. So giant ant mode was just very common at the time, surprisingly.
Yeah. This looks great in box too, which, funny enough, being a shell former, it did look really good in box. So next up, we've got Baboom. He is a blue mandrill. So again, this was in the second wave. So first wave was Inferno, second wave was Baboom. But a really cool toy. This was another character that appeared in some of the Japanese shows, but we got to see it in the Gathering as well, which was really cool. Great design. Has 3 modes. He has a cannon mode, which is kind of ridiculous. His mandrill mode and the bot mode. Being a monkey type ape character, obviously it is pretty much just stand up, but there is some transformation steps here that I like. I like he's got the missile pods on the chest. Cool design, cool colors too, but Baboom is a decent figure.
Yeah, and again, one that has quite good popular status, a bit like Razor Beast. He's quite a popular character, and people have said when we put up teasers for this episode coming to say that this was kind of a figure that's been slept on a little bit, and I'm quite pleased that he got a good run out in Gathering as well. But that kind of blue with the fur lines really works. The mouth of the Baboom mode does look a little bit derpy, I do think, and he's a little bit, he's like a beautiful butthead laugh, isn't he?
And pet him and
the turret mode has even got his own little head that's peering through. I mean, scarcely called it a triple changer, but Look,
Yeah, it's a
it's a
weapon
cool
mode, I guess.
figure
Yeah.
and it's a cool size. There's playability, as we said a lot. The Mega Class had playability. This was no exception. One I haven't got, one I've never had, but I do think I'll be backtracking, 30-year backtrack to go and get because it is a cool toy. It's a good looking character. And as I say, gets a good run out in gathering.
Yeah, it's held up pretty well too. I've got an original copy of this and it still handles really well. It feels pretty fresh to my eye anyway. And the gimmicks still work and everything. It's a great figure. I think it's definitely worth people handling at some point, whether they buy it or they handle someone else's. But it's just one of those figures that was a cool design and just overall just a decent Beast Wars figure.
Absolutely.
Moving on to another gathering star, Transquito, or Transquito, however you want to say it. We still can't figure that out.
We'll say it differently every time just to annoy people.
Well, it's Mosquito, so Transquito.
Yeah, I know. No matter how many times you say that, Chris, I'm still not going to get it.
But as you said earlier with Jetstorm, I don't think it's the same head, but the same sort of design with that four mandibles in the middle. In this case, he fires a missile out of his mouth, very similar to Bone Crusher. I like this figure. It's got 3 modes. It's got the mosquito mode, and then it has sort of another insect mode with big pincers made out of the wings. Now, another shell former, especially in Australia, where I live.
Here too.
And I wish we mentioned this in the gathering. I never picked this up, but I wish I had it. I really like the robot mode of this figure.
I did have this figure and it was really good fun. The size for robot mode to the point that I never transformed it that much because I just really enjoyed it as a robot mode. I think the fact it's how can I put this? It's a very beast mode head on the robot mode. It doesn't look that Cybertronian. So I kind of had it in my head of he's practically a Beast Wars beast mode himself that just happens to have arms and legs. Really cuts a big image. Very good toy. Now that third mode, which literally just turns around, this must be considered a triple changer because it effectively becomes some kind of crab, and that's a stretch. Okay, that's a stretch. It doesn't. It's just the wings that open up into more pincers. But if it just went into a giant mosquito, into a very menacing looking soft purple and coppery muted bronze color, no, it was a very good toy. But again, just like Inferno, it's just bloody everywhere. Not because people didn't like it, just because there was an abundance of it.
As often is with Beast Wars and figures around this time, Wavemates shared gimmicks. So Baboom had an artillery mode. This has a combat mode, or that's what it's called on the Wikipedia. But they both had sort of weapon type modes. So sharing that wave, I guess it makes sense. I do like the colour scheme on this too. That muted, desaturated purple with the gold really works. And that bright, sort of almost neon clear plastic of the wings and pincers. It's a really good looking design.
It's a very attractive Predacon, which they tend to go in for more deeper, menacing colours, but it's ones you can put on your shelf and surprisingly eye-catching.
Now, before we move on to... oh, jeez. I've been sick. That's my excuse.
We'll let you off.
Yeah. Before we move on to the big hitters of this year, there was some play sets. Now, I'd like to pick up particularly the Maximal one of these play sets, just for the sheer novelty of it. But they did a Maximal and a Predacon playset, and the Maximal one is Orkanok,
yeah.
Yeah, Orkanok.
Well, it's an orca like a whale.
Yeah, so essentially it's killer whale or an orca that turns into essentially sushi, turns itself into sashimi, it cuts itself into pieces. This is my last resort. But it...
Oh, good Lord. Oh, that's both niche and bad.
I'm sorry. I'm really...
Yeah, I think you should.
I will apologise for that one.
That is awful.
That's just how my brain works, people. I say things and things pop out. But yes, this orca turns into this very strange sort of tower playset. It is what it is. But
I can tell you from experience how this was because I had it not knowing. I don't know how I came across it. Maybe someone just gave it to me. Maybe I picked up as a fit. I don't remember the box. I don't remember it saying Microverse, Microplay just hit it big and all of that and how it opened up. But I did have the Free Willy alt mode, as it were, and it's awful. Yeah, it's bloody awful.
It looks like a Chinese knockoff, like pound store
Yep.
pile of crap. Even the look of the
Yep.
plastic looks like that. I've never even
And it
touched the thing.
felt that bad in hand. Honestly, it felt very cheap. Whereas just talking through some of the mega classes before, you knew entirely what it was and who made it and to its quality. It was fine. But this felt like a knockoff. This felt like it was outsourced. If it wasn't Kenner Toys, if it was someone else doing it, I could entirely believe that.
Yeah.
I didn't go for the Arc Arachnid. It's not Arachnid. What do you call it?
Yeah, arachnid. Predacon
Is it
arachnid.
just arachnid?
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's
Yeah,
just
it's a bit
basically a
boring.
tarantula that spews out.
I think
It
these,
reminds
without
me of
just,
Mighty Max.
yeah, a little bit. Really shitty Mighty Max. Mighty
Really
Max,
shitty.
I remember that shark Mighty Max, the one that was like a busted up, like pirate shark. But some of those Mighty Max sets were freaking ridiculously good. Like
Yeah.
just the design of them. These are trash.
These are not
They
good,
look
and
like
they're-
someone from merchandising was like flicking through Temu, which didn't exist at the time, but bear with me. Flicking through Temu and went, oh, these toys look really cool. Oh, and they're beasts and bugs. Let's just buy them, rebox them, and sell them.
30-year early AliExpress.
Yeah, I would buy these in box sealed and never open them just to have them for the oddity, and that is it. I'd never want to play with them. I have no
I can
interest.
think of better ways to waste your money, Chris. But hey, it's up to you. But I
It
know
would
what
be
you
like
could buy in it.
it would be like you're at TF Nation or TF Con or whatever, and someone's got these like they've been gathering dust for the last 3 conventions. They just want to get rid of them. You just grab them to help them out because they're cheap. Like it's the level of this. Anyway, there's not much to say about this one either. It's a spider. It turns into more of a playset than the orca. It's got sort of
It
webs
does, to
that
be
flick
fair.
out from it. But really, it's just a spider being flayed out. Nothing too exciting here. Are we going to move on? Because there's much more exciting things to talk about.
These are better things to spend your money on.
Now, do we want to go Maximal or Predacon first?
Let's go Predacon first, shall we?
Okay, so our Predacon Ultra class, and this is Ultra Teams, because it's not just a single figure. But this came in the Ultra class, big boxes, 3 figures in each. First up, we got Tripredacus, which is from the Predacons. We got 3 members, being Ramhorn, which is a rhino beetle, Sea Clamp, and Cicadacon.
Yeah, they're very much cutting Decepticon, Predacon vibes, aren't they? The evil, the scaly, the color scheme. You can tell real attention to detail with making these look sinister and not cool, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes the bad guys can look more menacing and interesting, and they just
It
wanted
looks like
to
a
really-
horror villain, not
Yeah,
a cool
yeah,
action
it's-
figure. In the right way,
Yeah, no, it hits the notes it needs to, because looking at concept designs, looking at game designs and the toy designs, it looks menacing in all of them. It's not meant to look attractive. It's meant to look intimidating. And I think it does that. And this is the first time with this wave that we're actually getting combiners in Beast Wars.
Yeah, and look, they're not perfect. They are very flawed, but they're awesome. Now, Tripredacus, from the waist down as a combiner, works perfectly because that C-clamp mold, the big claws just spread out into big feet. He's got plenty of ball joints in the legs to have the articulation there. Cicadacon becomes a decent body piece. He's got a weird-ass head, and they did something pretty cool with Ramhorn where the body sort of splits into like a rail system, and one section of it becomes one arm and the other section becomes the other arm. Very asymmetrical. Doesn't really have standard hands, but he's a robot. Who cares like what the hands look like? But just a great concept, and I think considering what they were working with, really good execution for the time.
Yeah, and this was going into the first time, if I'm right, that we were doing 3-bot combiners. Now, okay, coming out of Generation 1 and starting going to G1.5, you did start to get the likes of Overlord, who could effectively be a 2-bot combiner or divide into 2. So they were starting to come away from the 5 and 6-bot sets to making a combiner. But actually, having a 3-bot combiner that really cut a big size, these 2 that we'll go into starting first with Tripredacus really has a iconic status. It looks menacing. It's meant to be, if I'm right, it's all 3 members of the Tripredacus Council, which we did get
That was the
glimpses of in
idea,
the
yeah.
show. Yeah, so it very much felt like, I don't know, the generals merging, and it felt like a big threat, which I thought was a good thing and a bad thing, because we had a lot of combiners in Generation 1, and then going into Beast Wars, not even in the main cartoon, we didn't get any combiners, and we had to
Which
go
is
to
a shame,
Japanese
yeah.
continuity, to get our first combiners. But I guess there's a sense in very much number of the members of the team and seeing them that less is more.
Yeah, and look, we've got Magmatron in in the Japanese and the comics. But he is very much like a Triocon. He's one brain for the three things. These are traditional combiners. The three members have robot, beast, and combine modes and their own minds. So they took that G1 combining concept and took it straight into Beast Wars and used bugs and mammals, and I think it's brilliant. Some of my favourite things to come out of Beast Wars are this and what we're going to speak about next, who's one of my favourite Beast Wars figures of all time. They looked fantastic in box too. The way they displayed them in their beast modes had shelf presence. Very cool figures.
Yeah, definitely. You really felt like you were getting, as the name suggests, ultra class. The ultra class was just like the mega class. It rarely disappointed.
And there were Japanese releases of these, both in fairly standard Takara color changes, and then there were Telemocha releases of, I think, 2 out of 3 members of Tripredicus. So I think I forget their Japanese names, but C-Clamp and Cicadacon, but there was no ram horn. So if you want to combine those Telemochas, you've got to pick up a random ram horn to put them together. But yeah, C-Clamp was in like a red and Cicadacon was in more of a red and gold sort of color. But pretty cool Japanese release of that too. But we've got one more on the list, and we're really excited to talk about that.
Well, even more so, it's one of the rare occasions, Chris, I can hold up the actual toy and talk about it here. And now I haven't got it fully combined because I picked this up at TF Nation. But yes, this is Magnaboss, the maximal version of a combiner. And I have them currently in their separate beast mode. So I've got Ironhide here as a big elephant. I feel it's actually good that I got enough research to actually hold the figure in my hand as we're recording this for a change. I've got Silverbolt, who is apparently notorious for breaking. He's got
you've got to be real careful with that brown sort of plastic there. Yeah,
but it's lovely and doing like the bald-headed eagle.
The
nice.
Beast modes and bug modes of these combiners are so good.
And I'm finishing off with. He's split. I haven't transformed him properly, but that's Prowl, who is the world's smallest lion. And when I wanted to get him into combine mode, and I was tired, and I stopped, and I haven't picked him up again since. But I will do. But yeah, he's very much got the cowardly lion kind of vibe. He's not the most like fear. He's not exactly Lio Convoy, is he? But this set, and when you get them all combined up, Magnaboss really just screams what you want a combiner to look like. And if you see anything that really can capture that, the image we're looking at off TF Wiki, which is one of Dom Fig's, that artist impression of what Magnaboss is going to look like, that's exactly what you need to see. It's very much like this. Like
Polar Claw in The Gathering, the comics do amazing justice to Magnaboss.
But he's like a mountain warrior. He's got that size of the elephant in Ironhide, but he's kind of wearing the eagle head like it's like he's skinned an animal.
Yeah,
you know? And
super
then
cool
he's even got a beard, which is like the lion's mane. But he looks like he's lived out and just living off tins of tuna throughout his lifestyle. But it really works. He cuts this real warrior feel, and I think it's such a shame that we didn't get to see this guy in a cartoon or more representation, because he looks great. His original toy is still sought after, even though it maybe looks like he can't tilt his neck down a little bit when he's in combine mode. He's very much looking up at a 45-degree angle all the time, so he can never tie his shoes, but it's a brilliant figure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just such a good combiner. Now, there's a few things I want to pick up here. The beast mode's fantastic, especially Ironhide. That elephant mode looks so good. They combine together decently. There's a lot of kibble from said Ironhide, and he is the bulk of the body. So legs, arms, and a part of the torso is all the elephant. And then you've got Silverbolt forming a lot of the chest and the top of the head. And then Prowl is sort of the head, essentially.
Yeah, it is kind of Ironhide plus a few other bits. Actually, since we've been talking and recording, I've actually put Prowl into his beast mode there, so you can't laugh at me anymore. So I've got all of them back in there.
I really can.
Leave me alone. You and your bad puns, you can't say anything. But it's a brilliant elephant mode, actually. It's again, we could do with seeing a few more elephants or mastodons. And
I recently picked up the Takara version, and it's just a really good looking toy. My partner's from Asia. Elephants are a big part of their culture, and even she loves it. Just this this big chunky elephant in the box. So now, speaking of Asia, in the Japanese market for this figure, there is typical Takara. A lot of paint application differences, but some main ones here are Ironhide's robot mode head is red in Japan, where it's not in the Western release, and the combined mode head of Magnaboss is also red with silver, opposed to that bright, like you said, the cowardly lion face. It doesn't really have that anymore. So I think the Takara combined mode is definitely superior.
Yeah, it's again, you do find it. You can pay for it, this set, when it's all boxed and complete. Again, known for silver bolt breakages, but I do think this is where we see, as much as I love this, you see limitations of the 3-bot combiners. Mm-hmm. You need a big elephant to make up the majority of the torso. If this was, say, a 5-bot set, I'd like to see it maybe do a little bit more. I would love this to come out in the chug line like we saw.
I was just thinking the same.
Magnaboss. I just want to see a bit more of a... I want him to look down in combined mode. I want to be able to tilt his chin down.
Not forever, like looking to the stars.
It's like he can't see who's attacking him. But
my name is Optimus Prime. He's doing the end of film monologue.
Yeah. I am still looking up. I am waiting.
I 100% agree. I can see a Commander set of this in the Generations line. I'm pretty sure I've heard, whatever, that the design team would love to make a Magnaboss in this. Now, with the success of Magmatron and how solid that figure is, now I know it doesn't have to do individual robot modes, but if they can do anything even close to that with Magnaboss and potentially try Predicus, geez, that would be so good.
Do you know what's worse, Chris, is that we could get a Magnaboss out in the Generations line before you ever get Polar Claw that you should have got in the Kingdom line. Just to rub salt in your wounds.
It's pretty... Hey, I'll take it. I'll take that concession. I would even be happy. I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way because it's contentious. No. If they're our listeners, they'll understand. But I get their reservations. I could see this as a HasLab release because it's a little bit more niche. It would allow it to be a little bit bigger and parts count be a bit higher to be able to get the most out of that three robot combiner team.
I think you're right. I still to this day have not backed one HasLab project, and it will be the first one that I do would be for this. But it kind of enables Hasbro, and going off on a bit of a deeper discussion tangent, but not to mass retail a niche corner of the market because, again, this wasn't in the cartoon. So you'd have to be pretty big into your Beast Wars to want this figure, to want to go after it. And so effectively made to order probably would be the way to go. I would definitely back that. I'd be more than happy for it. But I come back to it. If Magmatron came out under the chug line, then why can't this guy?
Yeah, I think the advantage of Magmatron is they didn't have to do those individual robot modes, so they could make that Commander price point go a long way. There's still a lot of engineering in that figure, believe me. It is very, very solid. This is... It sounds so creepy, and I don't mean it to. But handling the thighs and the legs of Magmatron, they just feel like there's weight and solidness to them. Like when you're handling the legs specifically, because it's obviously one robot's parts, you can tell that there is a lot of quality and weight there. And I could see that kind of budget going into this. And like I said, a HasLab level would give it that just that little bit more to really sort of work things out.
Would it be fair to say that the Ultra class of back in the day is the Commander class of today?
Oh, I'd say so in terms of complexity and price point.
Yeah, I think price point kind of works.
Leader is kind of in the middle now between Mega and Ultra, if anything, because leaders aren't as big as they are, but the complexity and the engineering is there.
I can't leave this on the table and bash all the other figures that we've spoken about. As much as I love this, and I've got them all here in their beast modes, I do love it. I'm really, really pleased with it. The reusing of names, my God, I got Silverbolt, Ironhide, and Prowl. Do I have a police car? Do I have a grumpy old red thing? And do I have a Concorde? No, I don't. You know, it's I like it, but I'm
And
like,
Silverbolt's already in Beast Wars.
that annoys me more than it should, but it really annoys me. Like, you could have called this thing anything. Could have called him Falcon, Captain Falcon, and called another infringement. But you know, there's other names are available. You don't have to. Yeah. Oh, that's. I'm annoyed you brought up Silverbolt. That's pissed me off.
So,
And on that bombshell, that's another infringement.
poor guy. So, in the Japanese release of this, again, superior deco. I'm gonna link this to Ian so you can look at it while I'm looking at it, while you guys hear me click and type. Now, there were some name changes as fairly standard with Beast Wars. So we got Leo Jr. instead of Prowl. So that's a little bit better because Leo Convoy. The elephant Ironhide is now Santon, and then a reused name. Unfortunately, it's not Silverbolt, but it is Skywarp for the Eagle mode. So we got some different names there for the Takara release. 2 new names and 1 reused name is a little bit better than 3, I guess.
Yeah, and my rage has subsided when I see this. I think it's quite a different color scheme it's gone for.
Yeah, the highlights are really good, bolder colors.
Bold, that's the word I'm looking for. It is bolder, where there's I guess a bit more of a softness with the first release. It's still a brilliant figure, and I'd love to see a re-release. I'd love to see a redesign under the Chug line or HasLab, as you say.
Yeah, that deeper greys and brighter reds are much nicer. That gold outlining around the red chest is really good, and the head sculpt makes a worlds of difference between that yellow and going to that going to that like battle mask, like war paint look. 100%.
Yeah, very tribalistic.
This is on my, I don't want to call it a grail because it's quite achievable, but grails are personal and it's subjective, I guess. The Takara version of this is a bit of a grail for me, so I'd like to pick that up at some point.
What would be the pickup for you in this line then? If you had to have one of the 97 wave, what would stand out to you?
Of the Takara wave or just in general? The Hasbro wave or in general?
In general, yeah.
Magnaboss is the clear winner for me in terms of any release. Again, like I just said, the Takara release is a bit of a grail for me. Otherwise, I think Inferno is just tippity top for me. I'd love that figure so much. I have maybe 2 or 3 copies. I've definitely got 2 complete copies of it, and then I've got 1 in the box. So I'm definitely a fan of it.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. Magnum Boss is very, very good. I do like Air Razor of the basics class. I have a soft spot for Air Razor. But Inferno for me is the one that holds the most love. It's one that I played with the most. Transquito as well. I did like probably Inferno if I had the metaphorical blaster to my head. Yeah, I think that's what it would be. Mega Inferno.
Yeah, definitely. Bring on the MPG Takara. Come on. MPG Inferno win.
Do it, you
guys. So that was a discussion of all the standard releases, I guess. I'm sure there's lots of variants and things, of the 1997 toy line, Basics, Deluxe, Mega, Playsets, and Ultra Combiners. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. I love talking about the toys. I can't wait to keep moving through this. So I know the feedback's been good so far on toy episodes, but please hit us up and let us know what you think about these. And what are your favourite toys out of this year, out of the 1997 year? Is it combiners? Do you like the basics? I think the basics and the combiners are probably the best overall out of this lot, but there's a few obviously nice figures in between.
Just want to go in there at that point. We mentioned it throughout the podcast that we have cleared 2,000 listens on podcast format, and just want to say a big thank you to you all for sticking with us for that. That doesn't include YouTube, so that's purely on your Spotify's, your Apple Music's, Amazon's, and all other derivatives of, but it's really cool to hit that mark. Yeah, I'd like to think we're growing from strength to strength, people messaging saying what's coming up next, and love to have you along as we're doing all of these episodes and try and keep the episode topics varied as well.
Yeah, I feel though we haven't got the biggest audience in the world yet, it's we've got a loyal audience so far, which is really nice to see. We obviously, our earlier episodes have higher numbers. That's fairly normal that people find a podcast and they listen to a few episodes straight away. We get a consistent listenership of each episode, which tells us we're getting a nice consistent listen from our loyal listeners, I guess. That's a way to put it. I don't know, I'm jumbling words there, but you know what I mean. So really, as Ian said, thank you so much to everyone that is consistently tuning in. And the people that comment, we do see it, we read and like and try and interact with you as well. Not that we're no one special, we interact with everyone anyway, but in terms of specifically with the pod, we really appreciate those people that do chuck us those comments each and every fortnight to say, I really enjoyed the episode, this was good. And like, we've had people, I don't say this in any arrogant way, but we've had people saying it's like one of their favourite podcasts, and we're getting some really nice comments like that. So, and we appreciate that greatly. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I had people coming up to me at TF Nation saying they listen to the podcast and they really enjoy it, and some fairly big profile names as well, which was lovely. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm glad you guys are as well. So
coming up next, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled episodes, and we've got a cool episode coming up, which will be Double Dinobot, episode 14 of season 1. So that will be our next one coming up, and we're working on some other things. We've had a couple of things that haven't gone the way that we'd like so far, but no big hurdles or anything. But we are trying to line some other stuff up. So please stay tuned. We're not just saying it, we are working on things in the background. But we had some good feedback from having our friend David Cousins on. If you want to have him on again, let us know. He's very keen, and we'd like to get him on again, because that was a good blast with 3 of us on as hosts, and that little interview with David at the end was quite nice too.
Okay, so all that's left for us is to round up where you can find us. You will find us on all social media derivatives of That's Just Prime, a Beast Wars podcast. You'll find us on Blue Sky, you'll find us on Twitter, Facebook, and of course the podcast itself will be located on all typical podcast platforms such as Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Podbean, many other derivatives of, as well as going upload to YouTube, where there will be a premiere typically around Saturday morning or other time zones to try and get everyone involved. It's more Saturday afternoon for the UK.
Yeah, we post the times on our social medias. So if you're unsure, we give a couple of generalised time zones so you can work it out from that pretty well.
It's worth watching because Chris does like to drop in for the video clips when he's done the WAV format, a few little visual representations and laughs and little images can get
put in stuff there that works. I throw in. Look, when I'm doing the edits, if something sort of amuses me or makes me think, I tend to throw it in. So
he doesn't tell me, he just throws it in.
Yeah. Unless I'm picking on him. Which is always fair,
he still doesn't tell me. Yeah, do go and check those out.
I'll quickly give you, before we do our personal ones and wrap up, I'll give you some stats for the listeners. So about 35% of our listeners are from the United States, so thank you to those people. Close second with 32% from the UK, 12 from Canada, 10 from Australia, and then lots of other ones. We've got lots of single listeners. Well, not single like you're single people, but one person listening
individual
from some random countries, and I want to thank them all. And I'm just going to do a quick one. We've got the Czech Republic, Denmark, India, Japan, Philippines, Poland, Turkey, and South Africa. So thank you all to those people. That's brilliant.
As well. I love our podcast reaching one singular person in Turkey. Just it strikes me as odd, but I love it.
Yeah, I love it. And look, I understand why there's probably not more just from a language point of view. And in terms of where people are listening, the majority is Apple Podcasts, which makes sense. Apple products are pretty widely spread, and Spotify. So we expect that those are usually going to be the higher ones. So thanks to everyone that is tuning in, and you'll find me on the usual places. YouTube is the main one. I'm not going to say I've been slack, but I haven't been getting as many videos out as I'd like at the moment.
You haven't been well, have you?
No, I've been pretty unwell a couple of times recently. Between that and then I work for myself, so that has to come first sometimes. So I do apologise for not being as active as I can, but I'll try and get some stuff out for everyone soon. And you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, all the same things. Chris Carnage or Carnage Creations. And Ian, where can everyone find you as usual?
You will find me on primarily YouTube with ArrowFyre as a Y, with a Y. I feel like I've really got to get that on a t-shirt, but you'll find me on Facebook, you'll find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, all kinds of things going on. And yeah, just got a nice things coming up, some nice events planned in the UK as well. So yeah, keep following the socials, keep seeing what's coming.
Absolutely. So thanks everyone again. 1997 Toyline we've discussed today. We're back for another episode review next fortnight. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's just prime.